Hello, everybody. Byron here. Welcome to the third episode of the Who the Hell Asked Gaming Podcast show. Of course, I'm Byron alongside my co host, Mr. Delivery Man, Slade.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
It's going all right, all right. So, we have some interesting topics today here for episode 3 because it's been a bit of a wild week, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, between the whole Twitch situation, banning words, and Sephiroth coming out in Smash, I'm really excited to go over that. And the disastrous release of Cyberpunk 2077. We have a lot to go over today.
That has certainly been a disaster. So, Slade, I'll let you lead in with this. What's our first topic?
All right, so let's start with something that personally makes me very happy, and hopefully a lot of people happy, and that's Sephiroth and Smash. So, as you all are aware, Sephiroth came out 2 days ago, shortly after the Sakurai Presents presentation that he does for all the DLC characters, and they did something a little bit unique with this one that I thought was really cool. So, the official release date is December 22nd, 2020. Right?
Which is.
But what they did is they kind of had this unlock early access thing going.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, where they made Sephiroth a boss fight that you could set 3 different difficulties to. And you could fight him one-on-one and kind of unlock him like you would most of the other characters in the cast. It's really not too much different other than the fact that it's a stamina battle instead of your traditional Smash.
Well, which makes sense. He's an RPG character, so like.
Yeah, for sure. And you get Sephiroth and the Northern Credit and whatnot before the official release date saying, hey, you unlocked him, congratulations, and stuff like that. And they kind of teased it up to be like this temporary challenge that like they wanted people to like, play it on very hard mode and whatnot. They're like, it's going to be super challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it's not too different than playing some level 9 computer, like real talk. So
really?
Level 9 computers are pretty hard, don't get me wrong. They kind of read your inputs and stuff like that and react within 2 frames, but that's neither here nor there. The idea itself is extremely freaking cool. I don't think anybody here will dispute that.
Yeah, and I saw that like they had the menus like themed after like Final Fantasy, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and another cool thing is a lot of people are like speed running it, so like they're posting their very hard times on Twitter and whatnot.
Yes, that is something I've seen crop up over the past.
And I saw HBox like did it in like 3.4 seconds or something. I'm like, and scream world record. And like, oh my gosh, that's impressive. But then you look in the comments and you see some guy who beat it in 1.2 seconds.
1.2. I know someone who's beaten this in like 2 seconds.
Okay, keep in mind this is a stamina battle, and sometimes Sephiroth like can suicide with his dairy.
Yeah,
that's usually where most of this is coming from, anyway.
Hey, cheese it. Why not?
Yeah. So, 1.2 seconds, Byron. How do you think somebody pulled that off?
Doesn't Sephiroth have like an Ike like sword throw move where like he could suicide? I assume like
it's off of that. Dare. It's not really like Ike. It's more like a Link down air, but it's like Toon Link's where he just falls into the ground. He can't act out of it for a period of time, so he could just kill himself like that. Yeah. I think that's a good guess, but that's not actually what happened. So what happened is the guy picked Hero, and he killed him with thwack right off the bat. Just menu thwack.
Okay. You know what? That sounds completely right.
Yeah, I say you knew there was going to be some cheese.
Yeah, so one Square Enix.
I was like thinking, maybe it's like a crawl forward air to immediate up B suicide. No, I was like, no, that's not. 1.2 seconds is not fast enough for that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, menuing a thwack would instantly do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, so going more into specifics of the news. I'm very happy to hear that they seem to have rectified the music problem that they were having with Smash Ultimate. Because in the original base release of the game, you had Cloud and Midgar, but they only had 2 music tracks for Final Fantasy VII, which was really criminal considering how much good music there is in Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware that it's a little bit of a shit show acquiring the rights to all the songs because Square Enix kind of does it a bit differently than every other company in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So acquiring music for Final Fantasy VII must have been incredibly hard, but they pulled it off this time around. I'm super happy to see it. I saw that they had remixes of Bombing Mission, Ares theme, and the main theme of Final Fantasy VII, which kind of like plays towards the end and whatnot, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and surprisingly, I didn't expect to see this one, Cosmo Canyon.
yes.
So honestly, I love it. They picked a great selection of songs. They even got, Advent Children songs like Those Who Fight Further, and obviously the One Winged Angel Advent version of it.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't have Sephiroth without either of those.
And they got the most important theme they needed to grab that they didn't get originally. That was the Genova theme, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
So, as I said, they did a fantastic job on the music front.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really complain.
So, oh, hold on. Yeah, so, let's shatter some hopes and dreams here.
Oh no! Don't do it.
Well, first off, obviously, a tradition that everyone usually looks forward to with the DLC characters is the Mii costumes. Who gets deconfirmed? So we have Barrett, who is a Mii gunner. Cool. Tifa is a brawler. Makes sense. We have Aerith, a sword fighter. Some more chocobo hats. That's cool. But I gotta do this to you, Slade. I know how much you want this character. There he is. Gino from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars will be joining as a Mii costume.
Hurts. So for those of you who don't know, Gino has been my most wanted character since Brawl. He's one of my favorite video game characters of all time. So obviously it kind of hurt seeing his Mii costume there a lot. But it's not just the fact that he got Mii costume again. Because when they announced Sephiroth at the Game Awards, I was expecting this anyway. I was hoping that it would be kind of like the Sans and Cuphead Mii costume, where he would have a helmet and come with a soundtrack. So I was like really optimistic that they would do at least one of those two things. But seeing it just being the copy and pasted Smash 4 one, that hurts. It hurts so bad. And the reason that it hurts a lot worse right now than I feel like it could have is because they easily could have shown Gino with Hero when they did the Hero presentation. They had the 4 Dragon Quest characters. I don't know why they held off on making Gino a Mii costume again for over a year and a half, when they could have just put me out of my misery right then and there. I just kind of feel led on, but all in all, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, life moves on. It's not that big of a deal, contrary to what some people would believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that definitely kind of took away some of the hype I was at during the whole thing. But once again, Sephiroth is extremely hype. Let's go back to talking about Sephiroth. Big Daddy Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
So, had a chance to play the character myself and whatnot. I felt like they did a really good job, accurately representing the fact that he's, a meticulous kind of villain overall. Obviously, he's very slow, and we'll get into a bit about his competitive viability later. But, I felt like they did a really good job. He seems extremely menacing, evil. All of his quotes and his voice lines in Japanese are pretty much what you'd hear from most generic anime villains and whatnot.
Yep.
Which is a good thing, don't get me wrong. It's a very good thing.
Well, yeah, he was the original generic anime villain for most
Yes,
people.
so going into that, I was kind of wondering if they would sacrifice some of the crazy length of his sword for balance purposes. They did not do that, so I'm super happy with that.
Hmm.
Overall, I think Sephiroth is one of the most fun characters to play. I think they did a fantastic job. Um, the stage is possibly the best DLC stage released so far, in my
Really?
opinion.
That's an
So,
interesting
for
take
those of
right
you who
there.
saw the Sakurai Presents, it basically tells the entire story of the ending of Final Fantasy VII, which I think is really cool that they did storytelling elements in one of the stages and whatnot. I don't think that's been done before in Smash, has it?
Uh,
Has it, Byron?
uh,
Because
you could, well, I don't know if you would consider it a story, but like, maybe the closest thing that's coming up in my head is the Paper Mario stage in Ultimate.
yeah, but that's like doesn't tell like the story from the plots of one of their
Yeah,
games. I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is
it's
the
literally the ending of Final Fantasy VII playing out in
yeah,
the background. Like,
yeah,
it's so cool. Like, oh my god!
yeah. That's actually a pretty cool thing.
And not only that, but it also looks to be legal because there's no hazards.
Well, how
No, this stage legitimately has a chance of being legal.
well, I was about to say like the only thing that would counteract is probably the music.
Yeah, a
Honestly.
lot of people there's that fear that because the music's an issue that will be legalized. But the thing is, a lot of streams don't have the music playing for their sets on stream anyway, due to like all the copyright issues and whatnot going on.
Yeah.
So worst comes to worst, they could just mute the music on the setups,
Yeah, they could.
and then it's not a problem.
Hmm.
The main thing is the other things that hold back other stages from being competitively viable are like walk-offs or stage gimmicks that can't be turned off or ceilings slash caves of life, things like that, right?
Yeah.
This stage has none of that. This
Mhm.
stage, legit, is smaller Kalos.
Okay.
And the cool thing is it could be both hazards on and hazards off
Yeah.
because you're getting the same stage.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, and not only that, but like obviously you have the music, you play the story of Final Fantasy VII in the background. It's just all around an incredible stage. I think by far, out of every DLC pack that's come out, this is my favorite one.
Ooh.
So they've
Interesting
really outdone
take.
themselves.
I do want to point out a few cool details that I found like on Twitter or whatever. Like you know how there's like a screen KO. For those who don't know, in Smash Ultimate, one of the KO possibilities is your character just slams face first into the screen. Well, Sephiroth, you don't get to see his face. He just shows his back first to the screen, which I found both funny and fitting of his character. And the other thing is when he eats like a
Oh
curry,
yeah,
he doesn't get like no, he's just like, what the fuck is this? Like he's just like
they just
whatever
spitting
to it.
fire. Yeah, I said they really drew the composed and meticulously insane evil bad guy.
Yeah,
Almost kind of has that goofy moment. Sephiroth doesn't have those.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, now let's touch a bit about Sephiroth's competitive viability with his moveset. First and foremost, and I know this is going to be an opinion a lot of people disagree with because it's everyone's in the honeymoon phase. The character just came out and whatnot, and he has some very good things. Obviously, like um, his range, honestly, is ridiculous. It's really hard for a lot of characters to get in and compete with that. The problem is that he has really bad startup on all of his moves, which that was to be expected, right? You have other characters that have startup issues like Shulk and Byleth and stuff like that. But what hurts Sephiroth even more so than all those characters is the fact that he also has really bad end lag too. So when he swings a move, it takes it forever to come out, and then it takes him forever to get out of the animation of the move. So that makes him extremely punishable by any character that has remotely decent speed, which is like the majority of the cast for the most part.
Yeah.
And It just kind of like, it's one of those things where like, yeah, obviously maybe there's this fear that, in Smash 4, Bayo was really, really good. So good that the entire community unanimously hated her for the most part.
Yeah, and yeah, that
That their
was
players
the
were carried, lots of controversy. Maybe Nintendo's worried about kind of repeating such a thing with their DLC. Because really, they're only like, I would even call slightly overtuned character so far as Joker. And even then, Joker has very clear defined weaknesses, like a bad out of shield game, and his recovery is not like the best in the world.
yeah.
But overall, it just feels like every DLC after has just not been very good. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I think Sephiroth might be the worst competitively viable DLC they've made so far.
Ooh.
Because they gave him the aforementioned weaknesses of Byleth and Min Min and some of the other characters. And then they give him even more weaknesses on top of that. Because it's not just that he has bad startup and bad end lag. He's also as light as Pikachu and Kirby. So he dies incredibly early.
That I feel like I would think he would be a bit of a heavier character.
Well, he's taller and whatnot, right? I think these were all choices in design to make sure he wasn't overpowered. Like, I felt like they came in thinking Sephiroth's going to be overpowered, so we need to, like, tune him down ridiculously. And I think they overdid it. And it's a real shame to see because Sephiroth's a lot of fun to play. Like, when you're running around, you're swinging up airs that cover, basically almost the entire, like, triplats of the stages and whatnot. It's fun, right? But obviously, when you have a character with that kind of range, that kind of control, they need to have weaknesses.
Yeah.
Or else it's just you wailing at somebody else and the other person's not having very much fun. I just think they went overboard on it. And it's honestly a real shame. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Slade, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, whatever. Like, Sephiroth's actually really good. You're just a hater because you didn't get Gino, which makes no sense because Sephiroth's my favorite villain ever. We won't get into that. But honestly speaking, just from playing him, playing against him, and then looking at videos overall, I just don't think this character is very good. He's just got too many things that other characters struggled with previously. Like, he basically feels like a Smash 4 character in Ultimate. And this engine is not kind to slow characters at all.
Huh.
So that's just my take overall on Sephiroth. Byron, what do you think about Sephiroth overall, my guy?
Overall, he is an addition I did not think would happen. He is, out of the choices I thought would happen, and I obviously did not think that Sephiroth would happen. But, like, he was a good choice, though. Like, he was way better than some of the other potential choices. Like, it could have been, like, Jonesy from Fortnite or some shit like that. So, in a way, I guess I'm kind of glad we didn't get a weird choice.
Turning back into the more casual perspective of things, since I just kind of went on a competitive tangent there. No, Sephiroth to me is probably one of the best characters they could have included overall. I think, number one, you're getting Final Fantasy VII, the representation it actually deserves in Smash with the stage and the music tracks and all that.
Cloud represents it well enough.
I mean, yeah, that's the only good thing that they've included, that in Midgar. But I felt like they didn't do a very good job with the music and whatnot.
Okay, yeah. I know a lot of people were definitely complaining about the music.
Yeah, so I felt like
Square
Sephiroth is really doing, the whole DLC is doing Final Fantasy VII a lot of justice. That I think it deserves.
That's fair.
And not only that, you have possibly the most non-Bowser Ganon iconic villain of all time.
Yes.
And when you think about like Bowser, Ganondorf, and Eggman and whatnot, those are characters that appear in their games, almost every single game in their series.
Yeah.
For the most part. Reoccurring and whatnot. Sephiroth only has, like, outside of the Dissidia games, like, what, 3-4 major appearances total?
I think so.
And that's insane to think about. He's on that same level in terms of his iconic status, and
I
yet you don't see him everywhere like you do
yeah.
Bowser, Ganondorf, Eggman, etc.
I
So I think that's just a testament to how amazing Sephiroth is
mhm.
and how amazing he is in Smash.
Yeah, I
In
will
general.
also say I have been enjoying the memes of like, oh, Sephiroth is just following Cloud everywhere.
Oh yeah, just fucking Cloud can't get away from him, can't live happy anything. He's like
Yeah.
Cloud's in Kingdom Hearts, Sephiroth's like, nope, I'm here. Cloud's in Smash Bros. Nope, I'm here too. Cloud tries to have his own movie, nope, can't escape me.
Nope. Yeah,
I'm
like,
just here to fucking annoy you to death. Don't mind me.
yep, don't mind me. Huh.
No, I love the memes where he's stabbing, like, you know, where like he did the fake out on Mario and he holds him up with a sword.
Yeah.
It's an Advent Children reference, right?
Yeah.
I love seeing that where he's like stabbing the other characters.
Oh.
So like, there's one of like Crash that's just hilarious.
Oh no, not my boy Crash.
And there's one of Gino
Damn.
that
Oh.
I find hilarious, but it makes me sad at the same time because it's the most accurate one
Uh,
I've seen.
well, that image just became more accurate because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that meme's
I'm
great.
gonna put it back on screen. There we go. There we go. Gino.
Oh no.
Look at the Mii's face in the Gino costume. It's just like, ugh, why?
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't give him a helmet. That's all I wanted, Sakura. I just wanted a helmet, not the stupid knee fake, the actual helmet. Like, please,
Uh,
please. But
uh,
okay, moving on from that.
all right.
So yeah, honestly, Sephiroth is absolutely awesome. I think Nintendo knocked it out of the park. I know when the update comes on the 22nd,
Yeah.
we'll see a balance patch and a couple of other things that wasn't included with the shadow drop release esque thing that happened.
Yeah.
But all in all, extremely cool. I'm super glad that they did
Mhm.
this.
I will say I was I was surprised at the technical shadow drop.
Yeah, because I predicted that like they were going to shadow drop him, but I didn't think they would go about it in the way they did it. Because as soon as I saw, oh, he's coming out on the 22nd, I'm like, damn, I was wrong. I have to wait 4 or 5 days. That's okay, it's fine.
Nope.
And then they're like, but and they introduced that mode.
Yeah,
There's one more thing I have to go over from
Okay.
a casual standpoint.
All right. Which is
Sephiroth's classic mode is something that people have been requesting and begging for quite a while for Ultimate.
which
It's
is
a boss rush mode.
oh
Yeah, so
okay.
to make a long story short, a lot of people were speculating and kind of hoping that Nintendo would eventually do a boss rush mode as an individual mode for Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like that's exactly what Sephiroth's classic mode is. And a lot of people are disappointed because it shows that they could clearly do a boss rush mode if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But they're disappointed that it's only Sephiroth is playable in the boss rush mode.
Well,
and I'm kind of with them on that. I don't understand why they couldn't just slap in an extra mode, say it's boss rush. And now we have proof of them literally doing that just for Sephiroth. What do you think about that?
probably like the insane dev time of Ultimate. That's probably why.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to give you that. I think that they have been going pretty crazy with these DLCs. Once again, the DLC pack, the stage, Sephiroth, everything's absolutely fucking incredible.
Well,
this is coming off the heels of Steve.
Yeah.
Who also was pretty fucking incredible and took a shit ton of work to rework all those stages.
Well, and remember, literally broke Twitter. Literally.
Yeah, literally broke Twitter. And not to mention, like, you get to look at your character select screen and you see Steve and Sephiroth just right next to each other. Like what world are we living in?
We are living in the world called 2020, where the unpredictable, unthinkable happens.
Yeah. So, as I said, the boss rush mode is kind of disappointing, but overall, great DLC. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, Byron. What do you got for me?
So, next topic, another Nintendo topic. So, Nintendo recently had Indie World on the 15th. And quite a few things were announced. Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are coming to Switch. a few other cool indie games. Super Meat Boy Forever. I do want to take special note of this. Super Meat Boy Forever is
Mm-hmm.
coming on I believe it's the 23rd, and I think it is Switch console exclusive for now.
Oh wow.
I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but if I'm remembering correctly, I believe it's going to be Switch console exclusive. But yeah.
And then, of course, you have what was the big boy announcement of the night, dropped at the very end.
Yes.
Among Us for Switch released the exact same day.
Yes, sirree.
Yeah, so let's go over some of these games one by one, starting with Spelunky 1 and 2.
Yes.
I personally have never played either of these games. I know they're coming out in summer 2021.
They're like rogue. I think they're like roguelike dungeon crawlers and like cave exploring games. So I've heard
Sounds
that.
like my cup of tea.
Yeah. I would say for you look at like gameplay on YouTube of it
Oh, heck yeah.
to really see if it's your cup of tea.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely go check that out, guys, because I've heard nothing but good things about the Spelunky games.
Mhm.
So, obviously, you have a lot of other games on here. One game that personally kind of caught my notice and attention, and I was just like, oh, that's cute, is the Fistafluffs
Yeah,
game, where the cats were kind of just squaring up on each other.
Yes.
And I have to say, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, a cat brawler. It's gloves all off and claws out in this adorable physics-based cat fighter.
It's literally a cat fight. I'm actually really interested in like looking at the gameplay for that. I don't know if I'm gonna buy and play it myself, but I think to me, I definitely love like the premise. It was definitely out of nowhere. I love how the title's like a fucking pun on fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Or it's like
If
fistafluffs.
you know me, if you've been to my live streams, you know I love puns, and I had to give a round of applause to this because yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's probably the one indie game that caught my attention along the whole presentation outside of, Spelunky and Super Meat Boy. Byron, is there any one of the games that caught your attention?
Super Meat Boy Forever. Because like I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, and I'm like, oh damn, it's been forgotten. But then like Game Awards, it's like, bam, it's coming out 23rd. I'm like, what? Like what? Like I'm still not gonna get it yet because obviously it's not coming to Steam yet. But like, I'm still hyped. This game's like coming out finally.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad for you, buddy. That game, those Super Meat Boy games I hear are really difficult.
Yes, but they're also really fun.
Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about Among Us.
Yeah. Let's get the cat out of the bag. To reference the other game earlier.
Oh my god, kill me.
Okay,
so Among Us on Switch, you play with your either Pro Controller or Joy-Cons.
Yes.
No voice chat in game, and I don't think they use the Nintendo phone app either.
Well, not a lot of games use the Nintendo.
Because it's a backwards idea. Like I
think
Nintendo, why don't you just put a microphone jack in your controllers?
Well,
Slade.
Well, Slade, I think only like officially like developed Nintendo games use the voice chat app.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. So like,
I just think it's absolutely bizarre that Nintendo can't just put headphone jacks in their controllers.
Yeah.
And then just let people voice chat with each other.
Well, most people who are playing this will probably use like Skype, Zoom, Discord, Slack.
There's no crossplay either, is there?
There is crossplay.
Between PC and Switch?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there's crossplay. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Shutting the hell up about everything I was going to say.
I just shut you down real fucking quick.
So, I guess let's talk about some of the funny little details. There is a way on the Switch version to access the new DLC level.
Wait, really? I did not know about this.
Yeah, so you could go up on YouTube and look it up. You can access the airship. It has something to do with creating a local lobby, setting your level to the airship, leaving your local lobby, starting an online lobby, and not touching the level settings whatsoever. And then, boom, you're in your friend's airship. You can access it. Oh, yeah.
What? This has to have been patched out by now, right?
I haven't heard anything about a patch so far, but I mean, yeah, I imagine it could be. But then again, Nintendo and third-party companies don't exactly have the best track records for like quick patches and stuff like that.
Oh my god. I feel a little bit for these devs. Oh my god.
That being said, the level is kind of in an unplayable state.
Oh, okay. You should have told me that first. Like the fact
There's
that
only a couple of working tasks. One of the tasks soft locks you in there.
Oh.
And then you can see there's a lot of things and references I won't spoil because I feel like they're definitely going for something with it. But
yeah,
if you want to look into that, definitely look up a YouTube video of how to access Airship on Nintendo Switch.
That's ridiculous. And this is only the Switch version. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's only the Switch version. So that would explain why we hadn't seen any real meaningful updates or content addition outside of, the blacking out the taskbar and stuff like that since it started popping off during the summer. Because they were working on a Switch port this whole time.
I guess so. Yeah. Good for good for Innersloth.
Yeah, good for Innersloth. So as I said, yeah, check out that airship glitch. And get back to us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. So okay, so Slade had most of the talking point during the Sephiroth segment. This is my turn. So, Twitch recently had its town hall for December 2020, and we're going to go over the 3 key points that were talked about in this. Key point number 1 is, as you can see on the screen, the product roadmap for 2020 and 2021. So if you don't know, Twitch has been having issues with like DMCA or being stupid with the removal of the blind playthrough tag. But here's the roadmap. In quarter 4 of 2020, they're set to have multi-track audio plus integration with that into OBS Studio 26.1, which that is out already. Editor access to clips. So on Twitch, you can set someone to be like a channel editor, like edit your titles, edit your like the games you're playing if you're like switching games tags. Well, now the editor will have access to clips, and you can select individual VODs to unpublish. Quarter 1 of 2021, you can select batches of VODs to unpublish, and you can select batches of VODs to delete. Quarter 2, multi-track audio into Twitch Studio, which is their beginner's OBS Studio Lite program. You will finally get DMCA notifications on Twitch. So you'll finally get in your dashboard, like, hey, you got a DMCA notification. Use the dashboard to review content in DMCA notifications, so like YouTube, and you can use the dashboard to track strikes, like YouTube, yet again. And in quarter 3 or quarter 4 of 2021, mind you. So the earliest these could come is what, like August? So
I definitely feel like their priorities with this list of updates isn't exactly in order the way they should be.
Yeah, so you can sort and delete clips by date, game, or view count. I'm surprised that's not a thing already. Really surprised that's not a thing already. You can use the dashboard to file counter notifications. About time, even though this ain't gonna come till at least like August of next year, and you can select all VODs to unpublish. So Slade, looking at this, your thoughts?
Well, it's good that they're rolling out these things, especially everything in regards to DMCA, being able to track them and really contest strikes. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing on this list. I do feel like that should be something that they're prioritizing instead of the stuff they got towards the beginning.
Yeah.
But I mean, better late than never, I suppose. So
Yeah.
can't really complain too much about that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is stuff that when YouTube was going through their whole fiasco, like what, back in like 2012 to 2014?
More so like 2011 to 2013.
2011, 2013. I feel like a lot of these other publishing, streaming video services should have been taking notes.
Well, Twitch
and jumping onto it themselves.
Well, to defend Twitch a little bit, they were still independently owned until I believe 2015. But
that's fair.
Then
they were acquired by Amazon. But that doesn't mean they still had all that time between then and now.
Oh, absolutely.
To figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was about to say. Like they had Twitch, aka Amazon, had time to try to implement this stuff early on because they should have seen what YouTube had gone through, creating the Content ID system, which is the gold standard, the benchmark right now. And they couldn't even they couldn't have done anything even similar at the time. And now that's led to them scrambling to do all this in 2020, in late 2020 to 2021. Whew.
Yeah, but as I said, it's good that they're doing this overall. I'm glad that they seem to be trying to do something to get in control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But moving along, that's not all the Twitch news we have today, is it?
No. So there is going to be a more controllable and lucrative ad experience. So there will be a ads manager tab for streamers. Because if you remember, oh God, was this back in like October? Because I remember the whole like Twitch was trying to force like mid-roll ads into the stream, and people were memeing up like the one like FGC moment, but like someone inserted like a fake Twitch ad or something, and like, oh, this will be the experience.
Is that the one where Chun-Li parry or a Ken player parries like a Chun-Li like super?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've seen people meme that up, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and then just ad plays in the middle of it.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you'll be able to set like ad times. You can do like in this example for an auto ad scheduler, you can do 90-second ads every 30 minutes, and you can choose when to run the ads. And another thing in regards to ads is you will be able to sometime in the future set a preference list for what certain types of ads you want to be showing up on your streams. Now, they decided to do this instead of giving everyone like a do not run these types of ads checklist. Now, Twitch says this would like hurt advertisers, when I think a preference list would hurt advertisers more. Now, to give an example, this example is taken from a guy named Zach Busey, who did a good YouTube video on this. I'll link that down below in the description. But his comparison was, what if someone who was a vegan streamer ran an ad, but the ad was a McDonald's ad for like a McDonald's burger, and the vegan streamer's Twitch chat was like, oh, fuck McDonald's, I'm gonna go tweet McDonald's, be like, why are you running burger ads on vegan people's streams? And if that like blows up into something, like McDonald's could be like, oh, fuck Twitch then, I'm gonna pull out my ads, which was kind of basically what happened with YouTube last year. Like, 2020 has made me lose track of time, but I believe it was last year with the whole adpocalypse, and that was partially what happened on YouTube. Like, YouTube was just throwing ads and everything, throwing all types of ads and all types of content, and that's why some companies pulled their ads from YouTube. And I feel this could be the same fucking situation, except for Twitch.
Oh yeah, because when you think about what people are going to prioritize seeing as ads and whatnot, somebody's going to get into the nitty-gritty and figure out how long are these ads that play. Mm-hmm. And they're just going to be like, okay, what are the shortest ads? And they're just going to select those. So,
Well, and also another controversy that could happen, and I'm going to use a couple of brands as example. Let's say I was sponsored by Corsair. What
mhm.
if, though, a Logitech ad plays?
Well, that
YouTube,
doesn't look very good for Corsair when they're trying to advertise their stuff on your channel.
yeah, like there are systems on YouTube. Now, obviously, how good of a job they do, I've heard decent things, but they try. I believe they currently have a system where, like, you say, like, oh, what company you're sponsored by, or like if you have like a sponsor in a video. Let's say I had a video sponsored by Corsair. They'll try to like make sure competitor ads aren't running on that. So like a Logitech ad wouldn't run on a video sponsored by Corsair or vice versa. So Twitch also needs to have something like that. IMO, but the thing that people got the most uppity, Goopy Goblin mad at was this. So Twitch original, oh god, I don't remember the lady's name, but the COO of Twitch, stated that they would go after words used in context against women of the words simp, incel, and virgin, or like using those words in a derogatory fashion. And people got as I've to quote someone that I've watched before, get rage baby mad. And Twitch released a statement saying, "We will take action against use of the terms like simp, incel, or virgin, specifically when they are being used to negatively refer to another person's sexual practices. Using these terms on their own wouldn't lead to an enforcement, but we would take action if they were used repeatedly in a harassing manner. We deny emotes related to these terms and take them down when they are reported to us. We have a stricter policy on emotes overall because they can be used across Twitch, so we take more proactive measures to minimize the potential harm." This was one of the times where Twitch was actually, instead of being vague, they were actually not vague.
They're pretty upfront about what they're trying to do,
and so the COO got out of context clipped. Because, like, to get the context of what she was saying, you had to watch the whole Twitch town hall, which not everybody is unfortunately going to watch the whole Twitch town hall. Or they'll read, like, a headline like, oh, Twitch is going to ban, like, simp, incel, virgin, and it's a shit. Like, Twitch in this situation was like, it's a fucked if you do, fucked if you don't situation. Now, obviously, good on people for being, like, hyper proactive about this in the event that, like, eventually Twitch does start actually banning the words simp, incel, or virgin in context that isn't negatively referring to another person's sexual practices. So good on that, and in the future, carry that same energy. But it was just like a whole shit show to read.
Yeah,
Like,
part of me thought that the reason they're going this far for language like simp, incel, and whatnot is that they're trying to distract from their extremely negative DMCA issue that their content creators and themselves are having.
mm-hmm.
But seeing that they've kind of clarified a bit more,
Yeah,
still kind of tells me the same thing, that this was very much not necessarily a ploy,
mm-hmm.
but kind of something they just kind of threw at the wall, and like, this is something we're gonna do to get people talking about it. You know what I mean? But the funny thing is, I saw a chart where somebody tracked, I think, the word simp being used on Twitch before.
Oh, yes.
After they made the announcement.
Let me pull this up.
And isn't it something like over 475% more people are using it now that they've tried to really tighten the leash on it?
Yes. So on the screen right now, shout outs to the Twitter account at Twitch Stuff. Incredible statistics. But on the screen, he has a chart of incel, simp, virgin. These words. And basically, the Streisand effect has happened. So TOS words per 6 hours. So let's just take, like... So as you can see on December 13th, it was like, 1.4K, 2.1K, 0.4K. And then look at the tail end of December 15th. You have Incel being used 2.6 times per 6 hours. 2.6 thousand times per hour, 2,600 times per hour. You have, actually, no, 3,300 times per hour. You have Virgin being used 8,900 times per 6 hours. And then you have Simp being used 18,100 times per 6 hours.
So by trying to enforce it and shove it under the table,
which is a good thing, obviously.
They've only brought it out even more, and
Yes.
that's just kind of how these kind of things go.
Like I said, it's the Streisand effect.
Yeah,
basically.
time over history has proven time and time again that this is the result of trying to do things like this. So
yeah, like basically on this whole situation, screwed if you do, screwed if you don't.
I personally just find the whole situation really funny.
Yeah, like if you want a video that explains this better, I'll link you to a Devin Nash video down in the description below. He explains the situation a little more eloquently than I could.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you guys haven't heard of Devin Nash, he does a lot of really great videos because I think he's a former lawyer.
He works
or something.
He works in like Twitch, Twitch partner management. Like he's like runs like a company of like Twitch
and
partners or
he's
whatever.
really knowledgeable on all the current situations going on with Twitch and
oh hell yeah, he is like and whatnot. He is like one of the #1 sources on the topic.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. If you haven't seen any of his videos, look him up.
Mhm.
It'll be worth every second you watch.
Alrighty,
100%.
So I hammered the last two topics. Now I'm gonna do the intro for this final topic. But you will probably get more of the saying. So, Cyberpunk. This is our last topic for the evening, Cyberpunk. So, if you haven't heard, Cyberpunk 2077 has been a shit show. Especially if you are playing on a base PS4 or a base Xbox One or even on the One S. So, Microsoft put out some tweets via the Xbox support Twitter account. Cyberpunk to ensure that every player can get the experience they expect on Xbox, we'll be expanding our existing refund policy to offer full refunds to anyone who purchased Cyberpunk 2077 digitally from the Microsoft Store until further notice.
This, to me, is a very great thing on Microsoft's part because, spoilers for you guys, I actually bought this game through the Microsoft Store on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I don't think I played 2 hours, so I was going to be able to refund it regardless. But just hearing Microsoft take this approach of like, we're going to make sure everybody who bought this unplayable mess of a game gets refunded, it's just music to my ears. I am super glad that they take this burden. Honestly, the Cyberpunk situation has just been, like you said, an absolute shit show.
Yep.
Not even just from the fact that the game's buggy, unfinished, borderline unplayable. On the older consoles.
You should definitely check out on YouTube some videos of a Cyberpunk PS4 versus PS5. It will fucking blow your mind.
Yeah, it's bad. And speaking of PlayStation, let's talk about Sony's initial response to it.
Yes, so Sony's initial response was, okay, we're going to get no refunds.
Yeah, no refunds. Screw you guys.
No refunds.
We don't care you hate this game.
But
we don't care.
But then, as you can see on screen, here we go. Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. Sony Interactive Entertainment strives to ensure a high level of consumer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. Sony Interactive Entertainment will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store until further notice.
And that is
Wow.
absolutely huge because I think the last game they did this to was it wasn't No Man's Sky. What was the last game that they did this to, Byron?
I don't even remember the last time they did this. That's how
Yeah,
long it's
I think
probably
they've done it
been.
once before, but to me, this is absolutely incredible that once again we have yet another AAA game come out of the oven completely and totally unfinished, borderline unplayable for, I would assume, is the majority of their consumers playing the game. Because I reckon between the install base of over 100 million of PlayStation 4,
Mhm.
the like 30 to 40 million people who own an Xbox One,
Yeah.
like those people got a massive short end of the stick when it comes to this game. And I'd have to imagine that's probably the majority of people who purchased Cyberpunk 2077 overall.
Yeah.
Unless like there's some sales figures for PC that I just haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, it's for a game that broke pre-order sales and whatnot. This is not a good look, especially since that this game is one of the most hyped up video games in recent memories, like ever.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this game has been in development since like 2012.
Yeah. Um and the crazy thing is CD Projekt Red has always touted themselves as like, we're one of the good guys. We don't do the bad practices other AAA companies do and whatnot.
And
Because at the time they were making these tweets, they were a small company. And now they're just a clumsy, awkward corporate giant now.
so you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yep, and unfortunately, it looks like CD Projekt Red has found themselves becoming the villain, and it's very sad, honestly, because obviously everyone knows them for The Witcher 3,
Yeah,
and what a
which
masterpiece
I've heard
that
is a
game
great
was.
game. Which I've heard is a
Yeah,
fantastic game.
absolute masterpiece of a game and whatnot, and the Witcher series in general, and seeing this happen to them and to their game just makes me sad about the overall state of AAA gaming as a whole. I mean, it's long since become normal that AAA games see day one patches
Mhm.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
And even more normal that if the games aren't buggy and you're unplayable, instead they're games with almost no content whatsoever that just get released into the world long before they were even ready. And it's just sad. It's honestly sad. So I don't know what it's going to take or what has to happen, but I think the state of AAA games are heading more towards cinematic games like, the God of War release in 2018, The Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mhm.
Now, we're going to see less large-scale AAA games because of stuff like this, because I know it's not all entirely on shareholders and investors and, corporate heads and whatnot, but a lot of these games are being forced out to the public to get people to buy them so that these guys can make their money during their fiscal quarters, fiscal years, or whatever, when these games are clearly not ready. You know what I mean, Byron?
Like, in a way, you gotta laugh at this whole Cyberpunk situation. Like, especially if you're watching the PS4 versus PS5 videos. Like, some of the stuff you probably have never seen happen to a video game before. And, like, this whole situation, like, the fact that both Sony and Microsoft are having to change their refund policies, it has to tell you, like, something. Like, this game is so fucked that, like,
Oh, yeah.
Sony and Microsoft had to do this.
You know what's hilarious about the situation, Byron? When you compare like the PS5 to the PS4 versions or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like when you see, fans of those consoles or whatever kind of meme on Switch ports of those games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't recall seeing a single Switch port look quite that bad. Like,
There have been some that have
wow.
gotten close, but like,
Yeah, like, wow. That's all I'm gonna say is wow.
like, this might be a little bit of a hot take from me, and sometimes I do have a hot take or two here, but maybe now obviously financially, CD Projekt Red wouldn't do this, but maybe this shouldn't have come out for the base PS4 and like the Xbox One family of consoles. Just
Yeah, I think
maybe.
they should have stuck to PC and next gen if they were gonna. But here's the thing: the game's been in development since 2013, or at the very least, they announced it back then.
Yeah.
So there's really
Yeah.
no
So
excuse for them to not have this ready for current gen consoles.
yeah,
So
that's true. That's true.
to me, that's absolutely mind baffling that they would release it in such a state like this.
And they never.
And not only that, but I understand that like they push these games out to quickly get their sales and please their investors and whatnot. To me, this does the opposite because now their reputation as CG Projekt Red is absolutely in tatters.
Mhm.
People are going to remember this when they go to buy their next game or whatever. I could give some examples. Battlefield 4 was famously nicknamed Beta Field 4
Yeah, beta. Yeah, I remember
because
that
the
at the
game was released in
time.
an unplayable state.
Yeah, beta.
And Battlefield has never truly recovered
Yeah.
from that travesty.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's lots of examples to go on. Mass Effect Andromeda might have killed the series. I don't know. Where a lot of people are holding out hope for the new one that they just announced, but a lot of employees are also leaving BioWare, so I don't know how optimistic you feel about that, really, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
then
true.
same with Anthem. Anthem was probably one of the worst video game releases of all time. That was the next big thing for EA and for BioWare. That was the next big title. Like it was one of the most anticipated. It was crazy hyped up because they have that like Iron Man flying around gameplay and whatnot.
Yeah, and then it came crashing down.
And it came crashing down because there was almost nothing to do in the base game.
Yep.
And you're just seeing more and more stories like this. And to be fair, this is something that's been going on for a very long time. I think even since the 360 and the PS3.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a problem that's continually just getting worse does not bode well for the future of AAA games, in my opinion.
And like CD Projekt Red are fucked. They have obviously the bad headlines for this. A topic we didn't cover today. But the whole thing with the Devotion, the whole controversy with Good Old Games, which are owned by CD Projekt,
Yeah.
the parent company of CD Projekt Red, who are the developers, who are just developers. So, but yeah, it's not looking good for the boys and girls over at CD Projekt.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Not
Like I said,
at all.
that's just a sad state that AAA games are in. To me now, like I think this is going to be the game that really opens up everybody's eyes about the practice of pre-ordering games and getting excited for games and whatnot, because this was the most hyped one, I think, by far.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
For a lot of
absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
And now that it's happened to something that's been in the main public sphere, this might be the turning point for a lot of people in their practice of whether to decide to pre-order games anymore and whatnot.
You
or
would
pay
hope.
for things digitally.
You would hope, you would think, but maybe this is the pessimist in me, but it'll happen to a percent of people, but will it be enough of a percent? I don't think so.
Well, I said, I definitely think that if there's a change in practice, this is definitely that first step towards that. And the main thing, we're going to have to see how much CD Projekt Red profited from this game, because they spent a ridiculous amount of money on this game, like something north of 500 million or something.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
And I think half of that went to marketing alone. So we're going to see how much money they make off of this game, and you got to consider that they're also probably losing a lot of money through all the refunds too. So yeah, I said this is just not a good look overall. I said you really hate to see it.
Yeah.
So
My God.
Anyways, I think that's everything that we were going to cover tonight, right?
Yeah, that's everything for this episode of the podcast. You can click the description down below for timestamps and for sources and all of our social media. Next week, we're going to just wrap up 2020 as a whole, just give our thoughts on 2020 and predictions we have for 2021. So
That's going to be a fun one because I think Byron and I are going to give our personal game of the year from what we've played. So we won't give any ill-informed opinions on anything we haven't played, so y'all don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and just other like retro if we've played any retro games we've played, and then obviously predictions for the next year because it'll be our first full year of the show.
Oh yeah, but anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. This is Slade.
And your boy, the one and only Byron. And we will see you next time for episode 4. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.